Hey class, this is Mr. Mumford. Of course, you can see me here on the screen. I want to show you how to constrain the train to the track. So once you have your train assembled inside of your assembly, go ahead and place your track. Hit open, there's your track right there. And just bring in one piece of track to begin with. Then we want to constrain. All right. The back of the track, we want to make that flush with the back of the train. Something like that. And then we hit apply. And then we want to take the bottom of the train and make that flush, actually mate that with the top of the track. And see how I have this negative 4.232 offset? I want an offset of just 0.4, and now my train is on the track, and I hit apply. So when I go back to home, oops, there's my train on my track. And it's grounded for some reason because the train body was grounded when I was trying to fix the tires before. So I'm going to go ahead and unground the train. And then I do want to click and ground the track. So I unground the train and then I grounded the track, and now the train is able to move on the track the way I have constrained it. Now I need to do one more constraint on the train, and then I'm going to loosen that back constraint and let that one go. So I need to constrain the train to the side of the track, and I need a 0.7 offset, 0.7, and that puts the train inside the grooves. And I hit apply, and I close this box, and I open up my relationships. Now remember that first flush that I did. I want to now delete it. And that allows me to test my train to see if it'll go on my track in this direction, and it does. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so that wasn't too hard. Now I sort of played with my block here. So you are now, home view gives me this look, but I want to go to my back view, which really is a front view, and I want to go to my front view as a back. So now I'm in the back of the train, so I can see, am I lining up with the grooves? And now I can go back to my mate of 0.4 inches, and I can get those wheels to fall down on the track. So what I want to do is I want to go and edit my offset. I have 0.4 inches. Let's change that to 0.2. And that drops me right on the track. So now that my train is on the track, now I have to animate it. So now I'm going to go back to my home view, which I have tricked out to be this view here. And what I want to see happen is, see my train, these need to be moving, but they also need to be moving in unison. So what I want to do now is click on one of the tires and isolate it and go to the origin of the wheel and turn on the XZ plane. And when I turn on the XZ plane, I can see that that is what I want to have visible. and I turn that visibility on so it remains visible. Visibility by right-clicking and clicking left, and there's my visibility and my planes now. Turn on all the wheels, and I hit this blue button here to return back to my full assembly. So now that those are committed and visible, we can now play with these. They need to have an angle constraint between them that is 0. So on this side, this wheel, this plane, the XZ plane, I need to put in an angle constraint. So I change from the mate to the angle, from the mate to the angle. I click on it and I go here and I constrain this plane with this plane, and I go to angle at 0 degrees and I hit apply. And that snaps onto that. So that angle constraint now exists, and you can see it over here in your relationships file. And now I need to turn to the opposite side. So I'm going to go home real quick, and then I'm going to flip my block around to the opposite side. And now I'm going to find this plane and put an angle constraint in between these. So I want to choose this plane and this plane and snap an angle constraint on those at 0 degrees and hit apply. Finally, I want to go to my front, which is really my back, bring this in, and I want to put an angle constraint in on both wheels so that the wheels will turn together as they go down the track. So I put an angle constraint on this side, an angle constraint on that side, and my wheels are now at, let's do 0 here. I got 57 degrees. My wheels are now at 0 degrees. And you notice how my followers over here on both sides have lined up, which is pretty awesome because that's what I want. So now I'm going to go ahead and close the box, and I'm going to test out to see whether my animations actually worked. So how I do this now is go like this, and if I animate it, if I turn the wheels on both sides should turn with each other. And at this point, I am done with this first animation, and I'm going to stop this video and go to another video to teach you how to make it go down the track. So that's the first part of the animation, and I'll see you in a little while.